Friends and family, welcome to my channel here where we talk all things real estate. I'm a property investor here in Wisconsin. My company's been established since 2017 and we buy and sell property with financing. So I'd like to speak with my fellow investors, primarily the wholesalers. It's 2019 and you want to figure out new strategies to wholesale property. Or maybe you're still trying to figure out your niche to fit in and you're, following all the different avenues there are to go about this. Well, let me share a couple strategies with you that just might, you just might be able to add to your toolbox. This is primarily about the opportunity zones and how you can wholesale in opportunity zones. So let's get to it. All right. So real quick, let's just get into the who, what, when, where, and the whys of opportunity zones. Who, actually backed this provision was Cory Booker and Senator Tim Scott. It's a bipartisan bill that was created, and it was also backed by Silicon Valley Sean Parker, who was the president of Facebook and also the former founder of Napster. So all of these heads got together and helped craft this bill that was snuck in the 2017 Jobs Act, and it was snuck in as the Investment Opportunity Act. So the Investment Opportunity Act is what this provision is actually called. Now, what are opportunity zones and where are they? Now, opportunity zones are 57% of the country, and it's in the 50 states and its surrounding territories. So every part of America and the U.S. and its surrounding territories have an opportunity zone. All of Puerto Rico is opportunity zone, and commercial investors are making big money out there. Guy by the name of Sharif Medawar, that's Sharif Medawar, is out there making big money in Puerto Rico, and he has the hugest portfolio of historic buildings. He owns the hugest portfolio of historic buildings, and he's a hedge fund manager, and he's managing opportunity zone funds right currently in Puerto Rico, making huge money. So there's a lot of money to be made here in opportunity zones, as long as you know how to invest properly. Either way. 57% of the country have opportunity zones that are, well, have distressed communities that are considered opportunity zones. There are 8,700 opportunity zones, and these opportunity zones are dictated by census tract that that basically tracked things like the poverty rate, and this kind of dictate what a distressed community is. So the distressed community would have 20% poverty rate, and with these distressed communities that have 20% poverty rate, 25% of low-income properties neighborhoods qualify as an opportunity zone, and 5% of non-low-income neighborhoods qualify as an opportunity zone. So 57%, just over half of the country is considered an opportunity zone. So it's great to understand exactly what this is and how you can invest in it. The biggest take back about this is the fact that it's actually capitalism's way of solving poverty. And a lot of people don't have faith in programs, but this is a lot different because you're using your gains to invest into an area, whereas before you use your equity. So you use liquid funds to invest into a community or a project, and versus now where it's all about your gains. So whatever you already made, you get to invest that and you get a bonus on that, your gains. So this program is totally different than any we had before, and it's designed to deter capital and investment, short-term investment, and is designed to encourage long-term investment. The bonuses, I'll get to the bonuses here shortly. So anyway, the who's, the what, and the where's. But what is it? The Opportunity Zone is a capital gains tax incentive program, a $6.1 trillion capital gain tax incentive program. It's projected that $6.1 trillion, it's, there's $6.1 trillion of unrealized gains on the table with this program. So there's a lot of money to go around. And how the incentive program works is that um, you get what they call a step up in basis. So you invest your funds into the opportunity zone or into the building, and what the government tells you is if you keep your money in this opportunity zone for 10 years, up to 10 years, after 10 years you take your money out, you cash in on that property, you get to keep everything you made, your gains, all of your appreciation. You get to keep all of your appreciation. So, and that's after 10 years. And then if a double bonus is if you keep it in after 10 years, so another 20 years altogether, you get to keep again whatever you gain on your basis. I mean, whatever you gain on appreciation, then you get to keep after 20 years. So you got 20 years to basically grow your gains tax-free. There are other shorter windows that I'll get into later. But the whole point of this tax incentive program is to encourage long-term investment with gains. So it's designed so that you can infuse the investment with your gains. So if you have basis into some investment and you don't want to, take the basis out of that investment, whatever gains you make from that investment, you can invest into an opportunity zone. So that's the slick part about it. There's also another feature of the incentive that allows you to uh, add value to property, and you get dollar per dollar for that value on top of the gains. So say a building is vacant, $100,000 building, minus the land, you add another $100,000 to fix it up. Now you just gained another $200,000 altogether. So $100,000 invested to getting the building. Now the building is worth $200,000. You bring in a tenant. Now you bring in a tenant, and then now the property of the building goes up, to whatever, $800,000, $1 million, whatever the case may be. So now all of that gains that you made and appreciation you done made on that property, you get to keep. So that's one of the features there, the dollar for dollar value added feature of the tax incentive program. So there's a lot of incentives here, but it's all designed to deter short-term gains, and it's also designed to deter undervaluing the property. It's all about stabilizing the community and adding value to the community. So with that in mind, let's go over a couple strategies, how to wholesale an opportunity zone. All right, so here's 3 quick strategies you can use as wholesaling in the opportunity zone. Now, so this is going to cover some residential and it's going to cover some commercial stuff. So this could be applied to both sides of the spectrum, and it's not just for residential or commercial, for both. So if you're a wholesaler and if you get into both things, this would be good for you. First thing first, I know this is what's been ingrained in your head as a wholesaler, is to go out and try to beat everybody with the cash hammer and try to discount their equity. But this is the strategy you want to step away from inside of the opportunity zone. You don't want to go in opportunity zones trying to discount the property. That's going against the entire design of the program. So no cash discounts on property. Don't go in there saying, hey, I want to fix your problem and give me a discount on your equity so I could exit your property with my strategy. We're not going to use that. Instead, you're going to use a new strategy to implement. If you're working with cash buyers that are local, and you want to be able to purchase properties under a discount, what I would suggest is that you try to become a cash buyer trustee. And what that means is, as a cash buyer trustee, you enter a contractual trust. You enter into a trust with your cash buyer. Your cash buyer creates a trust account at the bank, and you are a trustee of this account. And so now, as a trustee of this account, you get to go out and purchase properties for the benefit of the trust. So now you're a wholesaler and you want to go out and buy discounted properties with cash. Now you don't have to look for the cash buyer. You're the trustee of the trust of the cash buyer's account. So you can get the money to purchase the money on. I mean, you get the money to purchase the property on short sales because you have the funds to purchase the property. You go out and buy properties at foreclosure because you're a trustee of a fund that has the property to that has the funds to purchase the property, or even a probate property. So anything that's cheated without an owner that doesn't have an owner and would need cash to be released, you can use this strategy as a cash buyer trustee to go out and purchase property with a as an in-pocket wholesaler, as an in-pocket, with an in-pocket cash buyer. So that's a great strategy you could use to implement into opportunity zones without discounting the property. Instead, you could purchase discounted property as a cash buyer trustee. The second strategy you want to use, this is moving into financing. So now this is your all cash strategy. Now we're moving into a financing strategy. The option strategy is always a good way to go. Financing property with an option and opportunity zone. You get to freeze the value of the property because you have the option, the right of first refusal to purchase that property at that frozen value, whatever you agree on. Additionally, when you really want to help somebody in a opportunity zone, you can structure a lease agreement where you can stay stuck in the middle as the wholesaler, getting a extra cash flow of $200 or $300 a month cash flow, while you have a rent to own tenant in the building that will be paying the mortgage or the promissory note to move in on a rent to own basis. And that'll be another good strategy to implement into opportunity zone, because now you're allowing a property owner to finance their retirement or whatever it may be, or exit strategy. And then you're also helping a buyer, an occupant, move into a property without no bank financing. So now you're giving them a way to ownership, and you stand in the middle, getting an extra cut on top, about $200 or $300 a month, whatever the cash flow may be. And you do that, 5-10 times. Okay, you got a nice little cash flow going. So anyway, finance the property with an option. On the commercial side, they call this a master lease. On the commercial side, you can go and take over a property as a tenant, a master tenant, and basically you're taking over the job as the landlord. And the landlord will step back, and you'll be the tenant that take care of everything. You'll take care of the maintenance and the taxes and everything, and you'll receive the income, and you'll pay the landlord the mortgage or whatever you're subject to as the tenant. So the landlord would get the cut off the top, and then you, as the tenant, you will get the remaining cash flow. So that's called the master lease, and that's basically you're financing the property with this option. Now the third option, which is my favorite, we use this here at my company, and this is how we buy and sell property with financing, is with land contracts. Land contracts are a very dynamic way to do real estate in 2019. It's come to this point after Dodd-Frank and everything else. But either way, land contracts, when it's done right and you hold the title and the trust, it's a very simple way to do real estate. You finance the property at the seller's asking value, and you give them their asking price. You give them their down payment. You give them a monthly payment with interest, and then you give them a balloon date, and they have a satisfactory land contract agreement they can live with. The buyer comes in, and he has a title that he can hold in the trust, and he's paying down on the property, and he's able to get into a property without bank financing with a minimum barrier of entry. It's a beautiful way to do real estate. So the third strategy, land contract with the title held in a trust. That's the best way to finance, or the best way to do wholesaling in the opportunity zone. So 3 strategies: ditch the cash buy-in discount, strategy, and stick around. Maybe click on the link and go to the next video. Either way, my mission is to raise your financial prowess. I want you to be smarter about what's going on out here in the world. So I like to share. Either way, my name is Josh. Stick around, like, subscribe, share, the whole 9.